So we're going to lead off. We'll say 30 seconds or a minute. List off 1 or 2 word descriptions of Patrick for me.
Patrick was a rascal. He was full of energy, and he was someone who was always working the angle of life. From the time he was little, when he was a baby, we called him the Velociraptor because he learned stuff really quick, and he adapted really quick, and he just figured out how to get along and go along all of his life. He's just he was certainly a bright star for us.
What's something that Patrick always hated?
Ooh, what did Patrick hate? Work. Actually, he early in his life we used to have what we called family participation days, and Patrick would always disappear somewhere quietly. But when he got older and he got out in the real world, he actually liked work. So it was sort of the oxymoron that was Patrick. Was as a little kid, he wouldn't do it for money or for pain, and as an adult, he was all in and he worked all the time, and he just loved his job.
That kind of leads me into my next question. What did Patrick find happiness in?
We loved his friends. He loved to cook. He loved to cook for his friends, so it was a kind of nice thing together. He would live with us for a while, and he could throw together a meal out of just about anything for a group of people. 10 people that would show up randomly, and they'd all think he had planned it the whole time. So he was a great cook. He was really social. He loved to go out with his friends and hang out and do stuff with them and help them do anything. He was the kind of guy that would drop anything to help any friend do stuff. He loved football. He loved NFL football. He was a huge Ravens fan.
Okay.
I think he loved being a Ravens fan because his brother was an Eagles fan, and so he, like most brothers, would try to follow the older brother, but he wanted to pick something and own it himself, and became a really, really profound Ravens fan. Loved their Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Thought it was great. So it was nice to see him get that.
Who was his favorite Ravens player?
Ray Lewis, by far. And he grew up in sort of the Ray Lewis era when Ray was everything.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he would love this new guy. Who's the new quarterback they got?
I can't think of his name, but you're right. I know
he'd love this new guy. Lamar.
Yeah.
He's just so exciting to watch. So cool.
Great talent, great leader too. Yeah. What's one thing you wish everyone knew about Patrick?
I don't think everyone knew how sensitive he was. I think he really internalized everyone else's pain more than people knew, and he always sort of was the jokester and tried to keep everything light and try to make everyone happy. But the entire time, I don't think anyone really realized how much he internalized the world around him and how sad it made him sometimes, which is obviously what ended up causing the tragedy.
What's one time you felt like you and Patrick really understood each other?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it goes back to this comment about work, and so he was working at the Eden Resort Inn. He was been promoted to manager there, and he came to me and he said, "I'm going to go take a job being a roofer." And I said, I don't understand. You're doing really well. They love you there. And he said, I need to do something different in my life, and I think I'll be great at it. And I didn't believe him at first because I thought, again, he didn't really like hard work. He liked to always figure things out how to make them easy. But he turned out to be a great roofer. And at that moment when he got done his first couple of days and he was blistered and sore, and he didn't give up, and he just said, "I love this. This is what I'm going to do for the foreseeable future." It kind of felt like he had reached adulthood at that point in time when he didn't mind hard work and he wasn't trying to figure a way out of stuff. He was trying to figure out how to learn a new trade. It was really profound for me.
That's a great one. Why are you here today? Why are we talking?
Oh, this has been a tough year and a half after I lost Patrick. I hope people, you always hope someone can prevent somebody else from doing that. It was tough on our family. It cascaded a series of other tragedies in our lives, so it was really not the greatest thing. And I just want people to pay attention. Patrick was sick from time to time, and the last time he just, we just didn't catch it quick enough. There had been other times when he had gotten into those blue moods and we were able to help him, and this time he hid a little deeper and really put on a good show when he was in his darkest. And I just think people have to pay attention. I think my daughter Jessica said it best at his service, that you just got to pay attention to what's going on around you. And if you think someone's off or they're behaving a little bit differently, and that's what he started to do, just grab them and hold them and figure out what's going on and talk to them. And I hope people will do that.
From the outside, would you say Patrick fit the description of someone experiencing suicidal ideation?
No, so if he had some depression in high school, and so I knew the stuff about Patrick that was not good or was unhealthy, where he was he'd get really sad. Okay. I don't think anyone else really knew it. I think he kept it from people, and I think that's a shame that other people didn't know. I think if more people knew that he could get that way, maybe someone else could have stepped in or seen something in those last couple of days. But I think he's just I think people that are that sad are always put on that happy face, and he was always there for everybody else, and it was silently digging his hole deeper and deeper. And I wish he could have found a way to release his pain to someone else or talk about it. I think that might have helped him.
What are some misconceptions you think people have about suicide, about how it affects the person, or also how it affects those around them? Is there anything you've dealt with, specifically?
I think so. What in our family, like I said, Patrick's suicide probably contributed to his brother's accidental overdose. So that pain that we all felt. Some people are able to compartmentalize it and have it and deal with it and keep it in the right focus, but his older brother wasn't able to do that, and he fell back off the wagon, and I think it was a contributing factor to it. And so I think that people, when they commit suicide, I don't think it's possible, because they're in their own darkness, to see how many people it will hurt for many, many years to come. And it's not over for the family, and it can lead to other tragedy that's just equally unbearable.
What practical suggestions can you give to family and friends who've lost someone to suicide?
For us, it was staying close to each other. We actually lived far away. We moved back just so we could be here for the rest of our kids. We talk every day. We talked openly about it. We processed the guilt. We didn't go into holes ourselves. We tried not to. We tried to really just keep checking on each other to make sure that everyone was okay every day. And made it a point not to get lost in other distractions that weren't each other, because I think some people get lost in their work, or they get lost in the bottle, or they get lost in other stuff. We try to make it get lost in each other versus get lost in the world around us, and I think it helped us heal. As most people say, it never goes away. It's always there. Like at random days and random times, it just pops into your head, and you get sad or angry about it. But you know how to deal with it if you can always pick up the phone and call somebody and say, man, I'm having just a hell of a day, and he came into my mind, or I saw something that reminded me of him, and I just was thinking about him all day. It's like, for me, it's beginning of NFL season, I see the Ravens, then you kind of think about how much you liked them, and then you got to have that network to reach out and just connect with others and make sure that they're okay and you're okay, because you're doing a double check. Really, it's not just about you, it's about, hey, I'm not okay, how are you doing today?
So the project's called the Please Just Stay campaign or project. In your own words, what do you hope to accomplish, or what do you hope the Please Just Stay project accomplishes?
This is such a great representation of what this is all about. And that's what I think about with him is, it's just stay for one more day. We'll work it out. Just give some time. I don't think if he hadn't taken his own life, we all say that if we just would have been there that day or the next day, we probably could have got it squared away. It may have taken some time to get him happy and healthy again, but it's, that one day was all the difference in the world. It's just like, you know, it's hard because they want to go somewhere, but it's nowhere, and no one can go with them. And I hope that people just, they think that way or they're feeling bad like that. I love the idea. Just stay one more day and we'll work on it together. And I think we can save a lot of people if we do that.
What do you think Patrick would have to say about this project?
I think he'd love it. I really do. I think, like I said, he cared so deeply for his friends. I think if this would have been on the other shoe and it would have happened to one of his friends, you know, he would have just been all over this. I think, you know, when he comes to me in dreams and he comes to his mother in dreams, he's always talking about how he wished he wouldn't have. And I don't know if that's in my head or that's the reality of his communication, but it always feels like in the light of a different day with a few hours to think about it or someone to help you, you back up, you take stock, you recompose, and you go forward. And I wish that's what people would do when they get to that point. You know, it's just forever. You don't. There's no do-overs when you do something like that.
Yeah. Do you think that mental health and suicide prevention education in schools and the workplace is important? And do you think, you know, enough is being done, or is there anything you'd like to see?
I don't. I'm way more cognizant of it now. Every time I see it, I get a warm feeling that, you know, that there's places, and it seems like to me there's more places for it. So I don't know, again, if it's my rawness to it or if it's actually more, but I would feel like it feels like it's more, and it feels like it should be more. And I think it's one of those conditions that people don't talk about. You know, they talk about cancer and they talk about heart disease and they talk about asthma, but it's sort of stigmatized by the person and by the community. So I like where, as a country, we're headed, and I like the fact that people are talking about it because I think it saves lives. I think it gives people places to go that are safe and get that one more day out of things. That's just, you know, I always laughed and we kidded that, you know, Patrick, if we could have just got him to stick around through this last one, you know, this last bout of it, you know, he probably never happened again. It's just he didn't, and I think that's the tough part with awareness is people have to know, you know, it's all around them and they can get help and they can talk to people. I love the stuff that's sort of anonymous because I think you're afraid to tell your family maybe you're not as good as you think you are or they think you are, and there's some embarrassment there. This, you know, the hotlines and those type of things, they seem to be a place where there's at least safety in confiding yourself. So I like to see that that's changed, or at least feels like it has to me.
I think that covers it.
All right, you got what you need.
I think that we have.
It's really nice work, guys. It's great.
Yeah,